They crossed on a tarmac in the United Arab Emirates earlier today. You can see Boot walking off the American jet in a prisoner exchange. The deal, brokered by President Biden, left behind Marine Paul Whelan in Russia. He is still serving a multi-year sentence for spying, something he denies, as does the American government. Remember, he's an American Marine left behind in this deal. With that, good evening. I'm Leland Vittert. For President Biden, this is a huge win. That may be all you need to know about the Brittney Griner trade. We're going to get to the spycraft in just a minute, but on its face, it really makes no sense. Why trade an international arms dealer for a WNBA player who smuggled a vape pen with some marijuana juice in it? Why give up our only bargaining chip with Russia for Brittney Griner? As I said, though, and to be fair, this is a huge win for President Biden. Agree or disagree with his decision. Agree or disagree if it's a good deal or a fair deal. Agree or disagree if this is a win for America. Agree or disagree if it's a fair trade or if Americans are now safer or less safe overseas. This is not about Griner and Boot. It's really about two men, two of the most powerful men on earth, Vladimir Putin and Joe Biden. They both needed a win. They both got one. Just look at what happened today through that lens, the lens of these two men and their own political personal fortunes. And everything makes sense, including why the White House really doesn't care about the backlash about leaving behind a U.S. Marine. They don't care about the backlash. They know the backlash won't last that long, maybe 48 hours. And the political payoff is huge. Political payoff's already happening on the other cable news networks. Here's the White House press secretary actually explaining and telling the truth about the politics.
On a personal note, Brittney is more than an athlete, more than an Olympian. She is an important role model and inspiration to millions of Americans, particularly the LGBTQI plus Americans and women of color.
Certainly looked like she was actually reading that. In other words, Brittney Griner's intersectional points made her worth more to the Biden administration than the backlash for leaving Paul Whelan behind. In fact, her intersectional points made it worth giving up the last leverage we have over Putin. Putin understood that. Putin is ex-KGB. Say what you want about Mr. Biden's staff, but they also understand their own domestic political base and what's important to their base. That's not me telling you. That's Mr. Biden telling you. He made the deal. Actions speak louder than words. Back to Vladimir Putin and President Biden. They both have to get something tangible. Neither wants to be seen as losing to their home population. Neither views this as a loss. So let's actually look at the trade. Here are the facts, and they are indisputable. Brittney Griner, professional basketball player charged with drug possession for a vape pen with cannabis in it, sentenced to about 9 years in prison. And to be fair, she was going to serve that in a Russian penal colony. Those are dark and bleak places, terrible places. And it is certainly a good thing that she is home. Nobody wishes that life unfairly or unjustly on anyone. Victor Boot, Russian arms dealer, was charged with conspiracy to kill Americans and conspiracy to sell weapons to terrorists, serving 25 years in the United States. We'll get to Boot in a minute, including why he is so valuable to Putin right now. But just keep his fact sheet in mind. At one time, Victor Boot was the world's most notorious arms dealer. He was nicknamed the Merchant of Death. And he smuggled weapons from Eastern Europe, the former Soviet blocs, to Africa and the Middle East during the 90s and early 2000s. He armed many of the civil wars. The deaths of tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of innocent people came at his hands. He had his own Air Force to deliver his weapons. Charged with conspiracy to kill Americans, delivering anti-aircraft missiles, providing aid to terrorist organizations. 25 years in the United States. So again, Putin gets something huge, really huge. Not only politically does he bring back home a Russian folk hero, but practically, he gets a really good arms dealer. Arms dealers are useful to dictators, especially when that dictator, Vladimir Putin, is at war. He needs an arms dealer right now. What does President Biden get? A celebrity, a political win for his base. he viewed the trade as worth it. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.